This is Reverend Ron, Enlightened Spiritual Master, and this is going to be video number 6 in my series. Today I'm going to comment on a little bit of a heavyweight subject from Course in Miracles, because I was just in the mood to comment on this today, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Specifically and exactly, it's paragraph 2 from lesson number 129, Beyond This World There Is a World I Want, and it's on page 235 of the workbook for students. I like this paragraph so much I had it made into a poster, and I had it put in 3 little frames in my living room. There's 2 different ones and the other ones, and this one's in the center of it. So that's what it looks like from my poster. And specifically and exactly it reads, "It might be worth a little time to think once more about the value of this world. Perhaps you will concede there is no loss in letting go all thought of value here. The world you see is merciless indeed, unstable, cruel, unconcerned with you, quick to avenge and pitiless with hate. It gives but to resent and takes away all things that you have cherished for a while. No lasting love is found, for none is here. This is a world of time where all things end." Now, when I was studying Course in Miracles back in Kansas City, Missouri, when I was back there working for American, I was going through a real bad time in my life, and I got into Course in Miracles as a aid to get me through this time. And I studied that paragraph, and I committed it totally, completely to memory, where I could write it down and write it and duplicate it exactly down to the spelling and the punctuation and everything else. And I could recite it from memory too at one time. I don't know if I could do that anymore or not. But I was doing that for about a year. I had this thing completely, totally committed to memory, and it was about a year. And about a year later, I thought again about the meaning of this paragraph. And I realized once I thought about it real seriously, there's 2 sentences in that paragraph that are really, truly meaningful when you think about it. And those 2 sentences are, the first sentence that is really, really critical and has real serious meaning is, the world you see. Now, it says the world you see is merciless indeed. It doesn't say the world is, it says the world you see. Now, how this is significant is we don't see the real world because we're not equipped to see the real world. We process information through the screens and the filters of perception, as is pointed out elsewhere in Course in Miracles. So the world we see is one that we perceive, and we can only perceive the world because we're handicapped per se by the ego and the physical body that we have to operate in this world. So that's what it is. It's the world we see. It's not the real world. The real world is in fact not that way. The real world, though it may seem to be a hard and cruel place, is no different from the ocean. If you go down the middle of the ocean and hang out in the ocean, you see all sorts of things happening. Sharks eating tuna fish eating minnows, microscopic life forms feeding on other microscopic life forms, and on a superficial examination you would say, well, nature and the ocean is a hard and cruel place, but in fact it's no such thing. It's only what is, and that's the way the world is. It's not a hard and cruel place. It's only, in fact, what actually is. Now, supposedly we're intellectual beings. Supposedly we can process information and change our destiny and do something about things. And if in fact, if you don't like parts of the world the way they are, then you just stay out of the way. You know, like for instance, if you don't like to live in a certain area, you go to school and get a good job and buy a house in another area where you like things a little better. And you try to do what you can to change your world so that you don't have to live in the other part of the world you don't like. But the other parts of the world are not, in fact, hard, cruel places. They're just what is. Now, The other sentence that is of real significance in this paragraph is a sentence that says, "This is the world of time where all things end." Now, note that the first one says, "The world you see," and that's all it is. It's a world you see. It's not a hard, cruel place. Now, the other one says, "This is the world of time where all things end." That, in fact, is an accurate description of the world, and that's what really is. And anyway, that's going to do it for video number 6 here. I'm going to sign off on this one, and I'll see you in video number 7. This is Reverend Ron, Enlightened Spiritual Master, signing off.